turn your adversity into opportunity. Awaken the able, the impaired, and the society at large to this a special program, Ability in Disability. I'm Angela Ekore. Be determined to take the bull by the horn. Take responsibility for your situation and your solution. No matter the disability you are living with, do not allow anyone to toss you around. Stand for the truth. Stand for inclusive. Here with me today is a gentleman, Dr.
Joseph Ifeanyi Chikunia.
Welcome to Ability in Disability.
Good morning and good morning, viewers.
Yeah, Dr. Ifeanyi Joseph is living with disability. So today we are going to talk about the role of PWDs as in persons with disability in Delta State service delivery and politics. Wow, how do you say it?
It's an interesting topic.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. What is service delivery, sir?
All right, service delivery, simply put, is the kind of things that persons who are not in position, privileged positions, enjoy by those who rule over them. Such services in health, in education, in employment, in transportation, and only people in privileged positions can actually deliver service.
Wow. What is politics?
Well, politics is a kind of powerful positions that certain persons, not everybody can play politics. Certain persons play, those who have the means to get into positions of authority in government. And when they are able to get into that position, they can now be able to render service to the people or deliver what we call dividends of democracy.
Wow. What is the impact of politics on service delivery?
Yes, you can only deliver service to the generality of people when you are in a position. And you can only get into that position through politics because we are in a democracy. We are no longer in a military rule where you can get into power by just carrying a gun and staging a coup. No. Now you must go through the ballot. People must find you credible enough to elect you into an office. And the way to get into these various offices is by way of politics. You must belong to a political party. You must vie for a position. You buy the form. You campaign. There will be an election before you can be elected into an office. Because if that is not the case, we have a situation where 5 million people will want to go into an office that can be occupied by only a few, as we have in the House of Assembly. So politics is very, very important. And that is what you can use to govern a mass of a people.
Wow. What role can PWD play in service delivery and politics in Delta State?
Thank you. A very good question. Before I delve into that proper, let me say, without any fear of contradiction, that on the 13th of December 2006, the United Nations Organization, UNO, adopted a convention on the rights of persons with disabilities, CRPD. The following year, being 2027, May 30th to be exact, they opened it up for signatories from different countries of the world. And Nigeria, interestingly, was among the first countries to sign that they will ensure that persons with disabilities are fully integrated and allowed to participate in all the processes, democratic processes. They will be fully recognized with a non-discrimination clause. such that they will be part and parcel of the society. And in 2028, May 3rd precisely, this was fully endorsed, ratified, and it became an international law. And today we have over 192 countries and the European Union that have fully backed this convention on the rights of persons with disability. Now, having said that, there are many roles persons with disabilities can play in service delivery and politics in Delta State. For starters, persons with disability have these hidden and unique potentials that remain untapped, but when harnessed, will surprise even the government as to what we can do. I must not fail to profoundly express our gratitude to our executive governor, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Oborevwori, for the way he has been trying his best to make sure that lives for persons with disabilities in Delta State receives a major boost. There have been empowerments. And to crown it all, on the 4th of December 2024, just last year, he assented to the bill presented by the House of Assembly to him for a disability law. And in that disability law, there is a provision for the establishment of a commission for persons with disabilities. But we are appealing to His Excellency and the Attorney General and the Commissioner of Justice in Delta State to help us gazette that law, because it is said that production is not complete until it gets to the final consumer, so that we can have this commission that can now cater for persons with disabilities in Delta State. What can we do as persons with disabilities in politics and in service delivery? Number one, we will be in a position to provide what persons with disabilities need. We are the ones that wear the shoes. We know where it pinches. If in a leadership role, we will make sure that whatever dividend comes from government reaches the grassroots of persons with disabilities. I must not fail to state that we have 3 different classes of persons with disabilities. I am not talking about clusters, because in clusters, of course, we have the visually impaired, we have the persons with disability, we have those that have spinal cord injuries, we have those who are hearing impaired, but I'm talking about classes. There are persons with disabilities who are gainfully employed, who generate their own income, who have the self-dignity, the respect. They can fend for themselves. They are not depending on the channels of persons with disability to survive or cater for their families. Then we have those who see this disability as a blessing in disguise for them to enrich themselves, to make money. They go out there, they block the road, they extort money. These are not people who should be in leadership roles. Then, of course, we have the generality, who are even more in number in our society with disabilities, whose voices are not heard. They are rarely seen, but they constitute a vast majority. It is for this class of people that we are pleading, we are agitating, that we have this law gazetted and this commission established so that their well-being can be adequately taken care of. We have small and medium enterprises, business enterprises, that persons with disability, when in leadership roles, can actually set up to fend for our members. We can provide accessibility to our people, accessible products, because we know, we have the experience. They say experience is the best teacher. We know what we need. The approach by government should be reviewed. We are not saying you are not doing for something for us, but is it adequate? I don't personally think so. Because if, for instance, you have a wife at home and you love this woman so much as a man, but you don't have the resources to take adequate care of her. You wake up in the morning, say, darling, I love you so much. Mwah, you kiss her. The next day, the same thing. The third day. A time will come, she will tell you that, my dear, love is not food. I am hungry. Keep your kiss. Keep your love. Go and get us something to eat. So, wow. And as a parent, if you have children in the house, how do you make them successful in life? Mm-hmm. You send them to school. You give them food. You buy their school materials. You are preparing them for the future, such that when they grow up, they will also be independent. They are able to raise their own family. This is a microcosm or a reflection of what I am talking about. If you want the persons with disabilities in Delta State to adequately fend for their members, you need to empower them. You need to give them that full participation in politics, in government. We have what it takes. Some of us are very well educated, very enlightened. We are working, and we have the brains to lead. But then it is important that in the selection process, care is taken not to give power to people who are selfish, who are greedy, who will not take the people generally into consideration. And how do you do that? Just as in employment by a company, you first of all advertise for a position. Many people will apply. You can need maybe just 5 personnel in your company, but you have 1,000 people applying. You then have to go through the screening process. First, an aptitude test has to be organized. Then those that scale through will go to the second stage, which is interview. And during the interview, you can now choose the people that you will shortlist before the job. Thankfully, we have a supervisory ministry now, the Ministry of Women Affairs, Community and Social Development, that have been interacting with persons with disabilities in Delta State over a long period of time. So I can tell you that officials of that ministry, from the commissioner to the directors and to the other people, know who is who among the persons with disability community.
Okay, sir, I want to come in here. You mentioned that the process of selection, they should look at capable people that are independent. Don't you think it's a mindset? Someone that is an independent person might still have that mind of only my own, my family alone. So how are you going to relate what you said with this? My question.
Thank you very much. I did not just stop at those who can fend for themselves as a criterion. There are different criteria. I also talked about relating with the supervisory ministry, Women Affairs Ministry, Community and Social Development, to know who is who. Because one thing is certain, what obtains in the larger society among the able-bodied people is also prevalent in person with disability community. So there should not be double standard here. Just as in the public space, you have people who are well educated, who are even rich, come into government, and they still enrich themselves. Mm-hmm. The same thing you can have in persons with disability community. But when questions are asked, please, you are the commissioner, or you are the permanent secretary, or you are the director of rehab in the Ministry of Women Affairs, Community and Social Development, who among these persons with disabilities do you think can function in this role? You see, you have gone beyond somebody now being able to cater for himself or herself, to now getting a second opinion. And even during the interview, you can really elicit so much information from the people you are interviewing. What is your track record? What have you done for this community? You understand? What have you achieved in life? Because we must look at a situation where we put the round peg in the round hole. That is only when the generality of members and their needs can be met. So that is the angle we are looking at.
Wow. Disability, let's go for a short break. Be right back. Yes, Weston. You're welcome back. Disability. In disability, here with me is Dr. Joseph Ifeanyi Chikwe. We're talking about the role of PWDs in Delta State service delivery and politics. We're not talking about politics. Those living with disability, can they participate in politics? A rhetorical question. Well, that's a joke. If the government of the day decide to create a platform for PWDs, how would they be able to carry others along with their disabilities? Interfering.
Thanks so much. This is a very pertinent question because I am sure that the government, headed by the governor, would want a situation where persons with disability acquaint themselves very well if given this opportunity. Already in the House of Representatives, there is a bill now that's in process to give certain slots to persons with disabilities so that we'll have representation. Now, this is in conformity with that convention I mentioned earlier of the United Nations that has to do with rights of persons with disabilities. Because you cannot sign, Nigeria is already a signatory, you cannot sign to something that you are not ready to see through. So, we can do a lot. We can do a lot because only us know what we need as persons with disabilities. You know, to be a person with disability in Nigeria on its own is already tough because there is still this subtle discrimination. It is easier, for instance, for an able-bodied person to see certain persons in government than you that is suffering one deformity or the other because of the societal stereotype that the moment you see a person with disability approaching you, instantly you think that it's only coming for arms, for some level of assistance. But you may not know that this person has something in him or her that he can actually use to add value to the society. Now, we are persons who want to live out our life's full potentials. We have our passions. There are things we want to do. We yearn for dignity. We yearn for self-respect. That is very important. Now, if we are given opportunity to serve, we can then bring out a very unique insight, unique qualities that people do not really know. Because there is something about disability. If a part of your body is deformed, God has a way of developing the other parts. That is why you can see somebody writing with his toes instead of his hands, fingers. That is because being able to develop those toes to write rather than the fingers that he does not have. So God has a way of making up these things. And it's all about the achievements. There are personal achievements of persons with disability that will, without any iota of doubt, convince those in government that we can do it. It's just to give us that opportunity, a level playing field with the able-bodied people to see what we can bring to the table. For instance, I'm the public relations officer of my town's union. And before then, I was the special duties advisor to the President General of the community. I'm talking about Ubulokiti in Aniocha South local government area of Delta State. And I had set up a body called Ubulokiti Development Patriots that went into re-electrification, getting our people together to contribute as a way of, developing the community without even the intervention of government. And we're able to do a lot. Okay? So it depends on capacity. Everything flows from the thought process, from the brain. If you have the brain, the intelligence, you can sit down and design a blueprint, developmental blueprint. I am not happy with the situation of persons with disabilities in Delta State because it's as if majority of members are left out. We go cap in hand, begging for empowerment. Foundations have to come in. But this commission, when fully established, can adequately take care of the generality of members. Those who are left out, that are in the villages, in the rural communities, the grassroots, will begin to benefit. Now, it is sporadic in nature, once in a while, especially during the December time. But we should have a working arrangement where generality of members can begin to benefit directly from government so that the dividends of democracy we are talking about can get to them, because they deserve it too. First and foremost, they are human beings. And we are talking about posterity and humanity here.
Wow. Doc, if this commission is being gazetted, how can you reach those in rural areas, those living with disability in rural areas?
Thank you very much. If I'm in a position in the commission,
yes,
the first thing I will do is to build a database. A database that will encompass the 25 local government areas that make up Delta State. The chairman, the first lady in the local government should be ahead. They should be the driving forces to make sure that anybody with disabilities in their local government area is registered in this database. We want to know the sex, we want to know the type of disability, we want to know the age, we want to know the need. When we get this database, we'll then be able to know the total number of persons with disabilities in Delta State, the form of disability, and their area of interest. There are some that can go into skill acquisition. There are those who should be given scholarship to study in various institutions. Now, when we have this database, it becomes easy to begin to reach out to every one of them. And it should be secular in nature, such that it is not only one or two, a few persons that will keep benefiting from whatever government gives, like it obtains now. You know, if you call like 500 PWDs and you ask those who have benefited from government, please raise up your hand, you will see that a vast majority have not benefited anything from government. It's the same people that always benefit. So this equity, because in persons with disability, we're always talking about the equity and the need for us to get things done properly, because it will lead to the prosperity of the society. When persons with disability are allowed to play roles, then that equity will come and there will be a greater prosperity around the society.
Wow. So briefly, how can you rate the impact of PWDs in service delivery and policy in Delta State?
Well, now it has not really been pronounced because we've not had any opportunity to show what we can do.
Okay.
So the impact is below par, is below average. We only have essay to the governor on disability matters, and there is marginal role for us actually in government. That is why we are appealing. We are not using gun, you know, or trying to be violent. No, it's an appeal, and we are very, very grateful to the governor. He has blazed the trail, and we look for more opportunities.
Yeah, you look for more opportunities. Oh, you know, those living with disability, they are not latent. They have something else that God has given them, a hidden talent. So when you put them in position of authority, you know, you will see what they can do. There is ability in them that is not being exposed until you put it to test. Doctor, welcome. Thank you for this program.
Thank
God
you
bless
very
you.
much for having me.
Yes, I'll watch you for next series next week. Remain blessed. I remain Angela Ekore.